This is a very special Iran Nation video, and I'm making this video because if you haven't heard by now, there's been a very serious incident in downtown Toronto. A Ryder van, a white Ryder van, rental van, has run over 8 to 10 people in Toronto. It is a beautiful day in the GTA. I live in Oshawa, which is just a few minutes east of Toronto. Now, before I even get into anything, there are a few points I want to make very clear. Number one, I am not going to speculate, even though we're going to know what happened very quickly. The RCMP is a very elite, established, very intelligent group of people. They will figure this out. But the reason why I'm not going to speculate is not because I want to be some kind of coward or some kind of liberal or whatever. The reason I don't want to speculate is because it would insult my intelligence. And I urge everybody who's following this story to not speculate, not for any other reason other than it will insult your intelligence. And that's as simple as that. It doesn't make you look good in any way. Even if what you're saying you think happened turns out to be correct, it really, at the end of the day, doesn't make any of us look good in any way. But what we know right now is that 8 to 10 people in Toronto, and probably more, have been struck by a white rental van on the Yonge Street near Yonge and Finch, downtown Toronto. First of all, we have to stay away from that area. If you live anywhere near Toronto like I do, or if you live in Toronto, just stay at home, stay away from the area. If you absolutely can avoid that area, do it. The subways are stopped in that area, so really make an excuse if you can to avoid that area. And don't go looking for any trouble. Number two, Justin, the long-haired Mac Daddy Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has made a quick statement on this. And this is something that I really want to get into. Because the Mac Daddy has made a statement about this, a very brief statement, at the foyer of the House of Commons, where he said, we're looking into this, we're not going to speculate, we're not going to say anything else, we're going to have more to say on this. Now, this is what I think of when I hear this. Number one, a few months ago, there was a girl in Scarborough, in the east end of Toronto, who made a false accusation, now has been revealed, and she admitted was a false accusation that she had her turban removed by a Chinese man somewhere in the east end of Toronto. That ended up being false. But before we ever knew that that was false, the Mac Daddy, Justin Trudeau, Kathleen Jezebel Wynne, and John Chicken Neck Rooster Chin Tory all came out and said, we condemn this Islamophobia in every way. This is wrong. This is evil. This is not what Canada's about. This is all wrong. This is terrible. How dare somebody do this? And we are oh gosh. And then it ended up that it was a false flag. It was a false flag. The whole liberal establishment Canada. And I put John Tory in that basket too because he says he's a conservative, but that's a joke, I think, in my humble opinion. They were all ready to raise almighty hell and scold every Canadian they could find about Islamophobia and make even harsher laws against Canadians than we already do. We already have the M103, but it was a false thing, and she said it was false. But now that we have this taking place, we have the media, we have the Mac Daddy, and we have everybody, the same people who jumped very quickly saying this is an attack on Islamophobia, blah, blah, blah. Now they're all telling us, don't jump to any conclusions, don't do this, don't do that. Now, the Iran Nation is not going to jump to any conclusions, not because of what these people are telling us not to, but because really it doesn't look professional, and I want to be professional. But the thing that really, really irks me about the media and about Trudeau and about all these people. And to be honest with you, if I was a betting person, I would say that this is probably a deliberate act of terrorism. But I don't want to get too into that because, I mean, this is a rental van. We've seen this before, driving out of control. I mean, it could be many reasons. There are some people saying the guy driving could have had a heart attack or something like that. But it doesn't seem likely. And then, of course, witnesses are saying that the guy fled the scene. Some are saying that he tried to go into the subway and run into the subway. And now CTV is saying he is in custody. And the RCMP is involved, and anti-terrorism task force is involved, and all this sort of stuff. But what irks me is the fact that when these things happen, everyone, the media, the establishment, the politicians, they say, don't speculate, don't speculate. And we all know we've seen this happen time and time again. We've seen this happen in Paris. We've seen this happen in Nice. We've seen this happen in London. It's the saying, don't speculate. And then it ends up, But when we see things like what happened a few months ago in Scarborough, where this girl comes out to the world saying that someone tore off her hijab, someone tore it off, and all the politicians immediately went on Facebook, immediately went on Twitter, immediately went on their social media and in front of the cameras and said, this is an act of Islamophobia. This is terrible. We need to do something. You Canadians, you're all racist. Canadians are racist. Everybody's racist. And it's like, what? I thought we weren't supposed to speculate. We were supposed to figure out what happened. We have to do investigation. We have to do detective work. And it ended up that it was a false flag. And the Iranian nation actually came to the conclusion that, this probably happened because the girl didn't want to wear a hijab anymore, and her parents were probably very strict Islamists, and if she took it off because she didn't want to wear it, she'd probably be slapped. And it was a false flag. But now we see what's happening downtown in Toronto, and everyone's saying, don't speculate. The guy might have had a heart attack. This might blah, blah, blah. And of course, this has happened in Edmonton as well. The same thing happened in Edmonton, where some truck ran people over, and we don't even know, we don't hear about that ever again. Nobody's interested. But this seems like something is going on. The world is talking about it now. I pray that the people who are involved in this incident recover and that there are no fatalities. I really, really do. Because just now, the weather in the GTA has become beautiful now. People are beginning to come out of their homes and walk around and ride their bicycles and enjoy this free country that we have. And if this is a terrorist attack, and I'm not trying to whatever, but if it is, and he decides he's going to take advantage of the beautiful weather and all the people running around to kill people downtown and run them over with a truck, I mean, it's a shame, but I will have more to say on this once I know what has happened and what the thing is, what really happened. Is this terrorism? Is it not terrorism? Yada, yada, yada. If it's not terrorism, I will be making a video about how people, really, unless it's a criminal investigation. But what we do know is that G7 foreign ministers are right now meeting in downtown Toronto to discuss the future economically of the G7. And so we have to also put that in consideration either. So there are a lot of important people in downtown Toronto right now, so we have to put that in consideration. But the reason why I made this video is because the Mac Daddy, long-haired Justin Trudeau, came out saying, we're not going to speculate. We'll have more about this when we have more information. But the moment a girl came out publicly and lied, saying that her hijab was torn off by an Asian person, Trudeau and all of the politicians in Canada came out and condemned Islamophobia, and it was a false flag, and she said it was a false flag, and now we're all being told to shut up and don't say anything and don't speculate. Well, I'm not going to speculate, but I sure as hell I'm going to mention, how hypocritical these people are. So this is the Iranian nation for now. I will have more on this as I learn more about what's going on. But stay away from downtown Toronto. Don't try to go over there and look what's going on and stuff like that. Don't try to do that. Just stay the hell away from downtown Toronto if you can. This is the Iranian Nation, and we pray for all those who have been affected by this incident.